Hi, this is Scout and...
Guillermo! That's my new vibe.
Nope. Nope. Hi, this is Scout and...
No, that doesn't work for
Nope.
you. It was so...
No, it does not. Hi, this is Scout
And William,
from Hypermentilating,
the podcast.
a show that follows life and change through the eyes of a father and daughter. Join us as we find our way together.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Okay, so
All right, daughter.
today we are going to talk about
Things.
things.
We're going to
Yes.
discuss things.
Okay. What are pros and cons of social media? Well, I can tell you one off the bat, a pro.
All right.
Promotion.
Oh, I see what you did there. Promotion.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
No, that's... No. Oh, yes. That is exactly what I meant.
That is a pro.
Mm-hmm. It is a...
Yeah,
Pro.
I mean, that's the main thing it seems to be used for, is it not? Most people...
No. Cat videos,
But isn't that...
POVs.
Isn't it all trying to
No.
be heard?
No.
Squeaky little voices screaming from the depths to be seen and understood, and
What?
squeaky little voices trying to be heard. Is that not what we all are? Me.
Maybe to Horton. If you know, you know.
Oh, yeah. I see what you did there, too. Crafty.
If you know, you know.
All right, promotion. Yeah, that's definitely a useful thing.
Cons makes people
That's
feel...
your only pro?
No, well, kind of, but...
Really?
It does, it's entertaining. It can make people happy. It's a good way to just relax yourself, or if you just have a few minutes to waste and...
It's kind of
Like in a waiting room or something and you're just alone.
It's kind of a drug, though.
It is.
Like, in a
It
way,
is,
it's just
definitely.
the opiate of the people. That's the new opiate
Yeah.
of the people.
Biggest con to me, biggest con by far, makes people feel terrible about themselves.
Yeah, that's
Leading
huge.
cause of like
Harm.
harm.
Yeah.
Harm. It's terrible for younger people, especially because that's a big part of the
Audience.
The audience. It's a lot of the audience is younger kids that are anywhere from 10 to 18.
Yeah.
And it's harmful because there's other 10 and 18-year-olds on that app that are maybe, prettier, or they're, starving themselves,
Well,
or like,
it's-
and
it-
that's what
it's
that's what pretty is. Like, that's what air quotation marks. Like, that's what you're supposed to look like.
It's horribly misleading, just even that, like pretty, whatever pretty means. Like, often it's just all filters and angles and lighting, and it's not real. That's my biggest con with it, I think, is the lack of reality.
Right, the
that it
fakeness.
puts forth as reality. So people, especially kids, but adults too, man, it's just as bad for adults. They see this and they think that this is what reality is, and it's just completely not, and it's only going to get worse. As all of this, all these advancements in AI are just going to make it more and more difficult visually, for sure, but not just visually, orally too. Like, you're not going to know if that singer singing the song is real. Like, those things he puts together those songs that use his lyrics,
But AI music and
AI
voices?
music and AI voices, and you have
wouldn't
no
know.
way of knowing. There's no way of knowing. Every once in a while there'll be a small glitch, and you'll be like, but I mean, the way real people use auto-tune and everything, we've become accustomed to a bit of a robot vibe.
Yeah, and you touch on that in your Change Happens video.
Nice one.
That it's it's sad, really, because you can't know it's real. I was just on Reels the other day, just scrolling, as one does, and I saw a video. I was like, for a second, I was like, oh, that's real, and then I was like, no, there's no way that's real. It was just a video of some girl dancing, and it was like, her whole, it's a real account and everything. Like, if you scroll, it's all videos of this girl, but she's AI.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And like, you can tell, but it really took me a minute to...
Some of those accounts have millions of followers.
This one had like 500,000, I think.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. Social media is a weird thing for me too, because like a pro is that it would help alleviate some loneliness. Probably there's people who probably benefit from the feeling of being connected with other people, and because it can be used in lots of positive ways like that, as far as forming groups and online interactions. But then conversely, it's those things that create an illusion of the alleviation of loneliness too. And really, I think it exacerbates it a lot of times because it's not real, essentially. So I think social media can be super useful if you know what you're doing on it, and it's you interacting with real friends and real people that you can also in real life see. But if all of your interactions are online, that's a problem, I think.
Yeah, I saw another video. It was Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, and they were standing next to each other. Looked so real, and then all of a sudden they're kissing. Yeah. I was like, that's not real. Yeah, no. But it's like it looks real.
Yeah, it's bad.
Until it doesn't, but still, and a lot of it, a lot of music is AI now. A lot of the beats and the instruments and all of that is AI, and it's cool. It's amazing that we've gotten this far with technology and like that advanced, but it's sad that you can't tell what's real and what's not, because it will be, like you say, they're in the future, there's going to be the people that are actually talented, and they'll be the cool. Like, they'll be...
Well, people will be craving that. Yeah, they'll be craving anything that has reality attached to it.
Like, right now, people are craving the AI because it's cool. It's
and
new,
it gives everybody an opportunity to feel like they're a singer or they're an artist.
Whereas in the future, it'll kind of be the opposite. People that are actually talented and actually have those talents are going to be the people that are...
Yeah, it'll swing around to that, where the real talent will be revered again. Mm-hmm. But this isn't going away though, ever. No. Like our glowing boxes are going to be filled forever with this kind of thing. So I mean, there's good and bad, I suppose. It's funny, it started out with just bulletin boards, right? When the interweb was in its infancy, and people would connect literally like that. It was a sort of a short form of emailing. And then it's just morphed to where we have today. I guess Facebook kind of started it all, where social media, where people would be socializing through their media, their internet. And now it's just, we call everything social media. So any kind of nonsense that's online that we're looking at or scrolling through with some algorithm, we're calling it social media.
Well, there's like another pro, like we touched on, could be, that you can communicate with people through it, like Discord.
Which is huge.
Discord, I don't like. I think it's...
but it has good and bad too, right? Does. I mean, it's...
But, Instagram has... DMs. TikTok also has a form of DMs, and Snapchat. But what's I don't know. I think it's more of a con than a pro, but the thing is, it's entertaining. People like being on it.
Okay, but that's a whole different thing, because lots of things are entertaining. Lots of drugs are entertaining. Alcohol can be entertaining. Like there can be all kinds of things that, if they're misused, go from entertaining to debilitating quickly.
I'm not going to lie and say that I don't use social media, that I don't like it. But I've got to say that it's a festival. Like, it's...
All right, so you're coming down more on you think there's more negatives than positives.
Yeah, definitely.
I just think that it's mostly a big pile of nonsense. Almost all of it's nonsense. Yeah, it can be a cesspool too, but just nonsense. I just think most of it's nonsense. And it's as a stand-in for reality, I'm not on board. So that's my biggest thing about it.
Okay. Yeah, we drove that to the ground.
Okay, yeah. We just...
Okay. Well, the next one is, we kind of debated like what we were going to talk about with this. How much of a role does luck play in natural disasters? So I guess, like, what do we mean by that?
Well, originally we were thinking, I mean, does anything good come from natural disasters?
Right.
But I mean, it's impossible to consider that. Like, 200,000 Thais die from a tsunami. Countless hundreds of thousands of others of their relatives mourn forever.
So
I mean,
it's like how
from a human standpoint, there's no good coming from a natural disaster. So then we were talking about it, and we thought that, well, what about the role that luck plays? Like, can you call it bad luck or good luck? Like, if you're caught in, we live in a hurricane zone, right? So
an earthquake zone.
It is an earthquake, but not really. Like, we're fairly,
except for that one giant one.
Yeah, I know, but even that hardly did that much damage to us,
windows.
right? Yeah, we're not in Mexico City, but we do live in a hurricane zone, and I mean, the last one we had, it wasn't that bad, but we went on walks, and humongous old trees are all ripped up, and you can see the damage it causes.
Bridges collapsed.
Yeah, and then up and down the coast, there's people whose lives are lost, or there's mudslides, or all over the world, right? Hurricanes, typhoons, cyclones, same thing, just different names for different regions. They cause huge damage. So if you live somewhere that's in the path of a hurricane, or potentially in the path of a hurricane, and damage is caused to you, your loved ones, your surroundings, that's awful. But you can't. I don't think you can say, "Oh, it was bad luck." It's just what happened, right? Nature. So natural disasters, they're disasters to us. They're just, nature isn't like twirling her mustache going, okay, I'm going to wipe that island out.
Exactly. Well, it's kind of like you said, California, you can't call it bad luck. The few people that are left in California, when there's a little bit left of it that's sinking, like, you can't say that it's bad luck that they got taken with the island.
If the San Andreas Fault or one of those faults cracks and
you can't say, oh, it was bad luck that they got taken with it. No, it's like, well, you knew ahead of time. It's been building up.
So it's terrible, and it's
horrible.
It's awful, but there's...
I feel so bad for the lives that have been lost with the earthquakes and the sinkage, but it's also kind of like...
It's not really luck. I don't really think luck is...
You kind of saw it coming.
To a certain extent.
To a certain extent, yeah. It's like, I mean, there's certain things you can't really predict. Even with the tsunami, you see the tide pulling back. But you can't be like, okay, grab all our things, we're hopping on an airplane.
Sure. Tsunamis are really, a tragic one, because there is no way to predict it, really. But then...
Kind of the same with earthquakes.
It's the price you pay for living on the coast. Like, most of the world's population lives really close to water, right? Like, that's just what we do. We gather around water. That's originally how we moved about, and that's just what we do. So the water levels are rising. That's a problem that's already been being dealt with, right? There's places that
are building up walls.
There's places that are I forget what it is. I wish I could remember now. But there's a group of islands somewhere, I think in the South Pacific, that are digitizing their whole existence, because they know that their islands are going to be submerged. Like, there's just no amount of reinforcing the shoreline or putting up barriers that's going to stop it. It's just, they're too low lying. It's going to happen. So it's just the way it is. Even calling that man-made isn't really... Like, I do think that we're the ones causing a lot of climate change, but they're not. Like, is that a natural disaster? I mean, it's just what is happening. Yeah,
I wrote one of my papers on this canal that we didn't know at the time, but was melting. The ice caps are melting on the walls of the canal, and like the sides of it, and so pieces of rocks were going into the water, causing really big waves and vibrations in the Earth's ground, but they weren't earthquakes. So the scientists were like, well, what's going on? Like, what is this? I don't exactly remember the story perfectly well. This is just what I remember from it. Well, it was the glaciers melting, the ice caps melting over the avalanches were happening into the water, causing huge waves, like tsunami-sized waves in this canal, causing earthquakes because of the waves, because it was swooshing onto the sides of the canal walls, causing earthquakes. So it was kind of like natural, but also part climate change, because ice caps wouldn't be melting if it weren't for us.
Right, for us.
So it was kind of like natural disaster, but also not. So
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I just found that kind of sadly interesting.
Luck, right? Like calling it bad luck. Nah, it's not really bad luck if you know that the potential there is for the thing to happen. Mm-hmm. If you know that the potential for the thing to happen exists, you can't really say it's bad luck when it happens.
We can see a hurricane coming from a certain distance, like, there's trackers and stuff like that. Walls. We predict things, so we take certain measures to that.
Yeah, you could say it's bad luck if you happen to get directly smashed by the eye of the hurricane, and then 2 miles away your buddy's house doesn't get directly smashed, and then you can say, well, that's bad luck, and I suppose it is bad luck, but in the larger picture of things, you're in a hurricane zone, so there's the chance that will happen. Like we would be resigned to it when we were on Little Cayman. We just were resigned to it. Like when it was hurricane season, some people would get off the island, right? If you stayed on the island, we would make jokes about it, because what else are you going to do? But I think the highest point was 40 feet, like 10, 15 meters on the island. If there was a large surge or anything, there's a good chance you wouldn't survive it. So if you stayed on the somewhere like that and you died, you couldn't be in the afterlife going, this is nonsense, man. You just couldn't. You'd have to be like, yeah, probably should have left.
Wasn't there, in the recent Florida hurricane, tragedy, that's terrible, there was this guy that stayed in his boat on the, I don't know if it was the ocean or a lake or something, but he stayed in his boat during the whole hurricane and survived.
Well, that's probably a good move. No, that's probably a good move.
Really?
Well, yeah. I mean, if it's a good, solid boat and he's on the water.
No, it's just a little fishing boat, I think.
Well, but if the boat's a good boat, I don't know. I mean, that was one of our big strategies. We would all be like, I'm going to get scuba gear, and then we'll get on the boat, we'll grab that. We had all kinds of stupid plans.
That might tie into my on the spot.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
So my on the spot for you is the story you told me one time that I don't particularly remember, but I kind of have a little bit of bits and pieces of it. So I want you to tell the story about the time we went diving during a lightning storm to a small shipwreck.
All right. It's funny because I didn't know you were going to ask this, and we were just talking about luck and disasters, and Little Cayman came up. So my buddy and I, because this is a story that involves entirely around luck and stupidity and bad decisions and making your way out of it, right? So my buddy and I, we just take a skiff, a small boat, and go diving when we had time off. Yeah, and nobody seemed to be bothered by us doing this, so we would do it fairly regularly. And this one time that we did it, the bartender at one of the resorts, he wanted to come with us. I called him Brando, so we'll stick with Brando. He was a guy who wanted to be an actor back in the day. And he wanted to come with us, and we didn't think it was a great idea, but he was always badgering us. Can I come with you guys when you do one of these things? Can I come on one of your things? And so we brought him with us. Mm-hmm. And it didn't look that bad. Like, we wouldn't have done it if we had known where it was going. Yeah. So off we went, and we moored, and there was a wreck on the island, just off the island outside the bay, that we would go diving to, tourists would dive to. It was fun. It was just a little wreck, safe. So
what kind of boat was the wreck?
I forget. It was a small Navy, somebody's Navy boat. It wasn't a very big boat. It had been sunk there on purpose. Around the world, they sink old vessels like this, especially old Navy vessels.
For diving?
Yeah, they sink them and make natural reefs, and they're kind of cool. And then they strip them of anything on the interior that might cause problems. Okay. It's not like when you watch a movie and everybody's going through corners and there's sharks coming at you. It's not like that. It's nice. It's safe. It's just kind of fun and different. So we went down, and we hadn't been down very long, and you can just feel it. We could just feel it, and that something had changed. You just know it has. And so Aaron,
I know that feeling.
We looked at each other, my buddy and I, and we were like, let's take a look. And we surfaced, because it wasn't in very deep water. I forget how deep it was, but 30 feet, maybe 10 meters. Yeah. It wasn't deep, 40 tops. And we went up, and there was a heinous storm that had started, and the rain was coming hard. It had come in fast. and it was bad. So we made our way back to our skiff, and we got the other guy and made the way back to the skiff and got in it. And by this time, it was coming down hard, but the worst thing was the lightning, because lightning's attracted to the highest spot, and we're on the water, and it's going to be attracted to our little metal skiff, right? So that was the worst part. And the other thing was it had gotten so dark. Probably we'd gone out later than we should have too, but mostly it was just the sky, and you could hardly see the shore, the island, which normally you could see easily from this particular mooring, and you couldn't see anything, basically just sort of a flashing light once in a while. And then the water was pouring in the skiff because the waves were big from the storm.
Oh my God.
And so we were bailing out the skiff with our masks, and this other guy was just completely useless. He was scared, and we knew it's not that we weren't scared, because we knew how dangerous, like how much danger we were in. So we just were trying to do whatever we could to survive, right? To keep from being scared.
Yeah.
So we were bailing it out. And finally we decided we had to take a shot for shore, because it didn't look like it was letting up, and the lightning was a huge concern, right? Like, that's freaking scary, man. Like, you know, when you're outside and it's lightning, and you just know instinctively, like, oh damn, I don't want to get hit by one of those bolts. And when you're when you're the only target around, it's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
So yeah, we ended up, my buddy was amazing with boats. He had been in he'd done some service in the American Army, but on the water. In this case, it wasn't the Navy, but it was on the water. So he was really good with all kinds of different small crafts. And we were a good team. We'd done a whole bunch of sketchy things together. We were a good team. So yeah, we just... we finally decided, like, you know, I don't think we're going to make it if we just try and sit here. We have to try and get back. So that's what we did. I stood up at the front and kind of was like, there was a rope off of the bow, and I was holding on to that instead. And then I was gesturing. So I'd be trying to tell him, go right, go left. Yeah, because he had to cut along the waves, and then we only had one shot at it, because we had to get through the cut. Wasn't very big to go back into. Once we were inside the bay, we'd be safe, right? That's sheltered water. But we had to get through this cut, and it wasn't that wide. I'm going to say it was 20 meters wide, 60 feet wide. It was really small. Like, everybody who went through it, you had to have all of the people who piloted boats there. I had huge respect for them, man. Every time, the tourists didn't realize, every time we went through, how it was like, this was a one-shot deal. You had to catch the waves, even in the best weather. If there was waves rolling behind you, you had to know a bunch of things to get through it safe. And this was in a storm. Yeah. And so and one of the lights was out too on the cut.
God.
So we knew it well enough to know, okay, well, we have this much room. But yeah, there was only one light. So that added to it too. Yeah. And I remember going through that, man, standing there and trying to juggle signaling to him with not falling out of the boat, with the guy that was with us sitting in the middle, just kind of like completely in full on panic mode, right? Scared out of his mind, which was, the vibe was not helpful. And I remember getting through that cut, like just coming, and the waves behind us basically threw us through, right? The way that he got us through was so beautiful. It was just perfect. And the waves essentially just picked us up and just chucked us into the bay. Man, we were so happy.
Yeah, see, I have a 10th of your life experience, but I remember one time we were in Baja.
How old do you think I am, man?
No, I'm just saying.
You've known me your whole career.
I'm just saying you have, like, way more...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
...adventures than me. Way more.
I've used up way more luck, too.
Well, one time this...
So that was my point. It was just... that story is fun to tell and everything. And then, but it was pure luck. Pure luck that we survived. As far as I'm concerned, like, not only luck, there was skill involved. We knew what to do. We knew how to maximize it, our chances, whatever small advantages we had. But at the end of the day, it was just luck.
Yeah, this one time, it wasn't near as scary as I imagined this was. But For me, pretty scary. I was like 10 or something. But we went to Baja, and we were on the water. We were going to some place just for a little ocean tour of some of the little islands there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really nice up until we were driving the boat really close to this one. We were with a bunch of other people that also were on this tour. We were really close to this island. The waves were coming at us from the bow. So the waves are hitting us direct, like right in front of us. It was really scary because we had to go over these waves.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I felt like we were straight up, right? We
Super
weren't,
scary.
but it was really scary. On the way back, the waves were pushing us instead of coming like at us.
Right.
So it was a lot less scary, but
No,
there was people full on getting like seasick.
Yeah, that's all. It's all relative. Like there's no quantifying fear.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would have been probably more fearful than I was because we were old enough and experienced enough that we knew that we just had to focus on what we could do. Right? You were just sitting there helpless. Like you wouldn't have had any kind of an understanding of really if there was great danger,
I don't know
moderate
what the driver
danger.
was like,
you
if
didn't
he
know
was,
if
he was used to this kind of water.
Because in situations like that, I find that it's always I'm much less concerned with the outcome if I have things to do. Mm-hmm. So whenever I found myself in situations like that, as long as I have something to focus on that's proactive, then it helps to modulate the fear greatly, right? Whereas conversely, if you have nothing to do but to be a passenger, then you're a passenger to the fear too.
Well, on top of that, on our way there, before we knew there was going to be rough waters, the guy had told us that there was a really big great white shark that swam in those waters.
Perfect.
Wasn't
that's what a little kid
I bet
wants
it
to
wasn't
hear.
true, but at 10 and like I was.
Yeah.
I'm scared of sharks. I don't like sharks. I don't want anything to do with sharks. And then we hit the rough waters where, in my head, there's a chance we're gonna sink. Like
that's just like a.
And it's not like it was this big Chica Loca, tour boat. It was a little like.
Yeah, and they're rough. Those guys, they're rough the way they drive those boats, man. They
Well,
just
actually,
come smashing
the guys, they were
down,
really good. The
smash.
other guy was trying to like get us to focus on something else, was telling us stories and stuff like that. And once we got to the island that we were swimming at, it was fine.
Yeah.
But everything before that, it was like, okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for telling that story. Beautiful.
You're welcome. Okay, there you go. You weaseled the story out of me.
I did.
Mm-hmm. And now it's your turn to beak.
I have a really big rant.
Oh boy.
So I'm just gonna get this over with. Waking up from a dream halfway through it. I don't care if it's a nightmare. I don't care if it's a good dream or if it's just some bland dream. I really don't care. Waking up from a dream halfway through it. If I'm in the middle of a dream and I'm enjoying it or I'm scared, I don't want to wake up. Because if it's a scary dream and I wake up halfway through it, then I just have that image of the last thing I saw in my head. Whereas if it played out, then I could see if there's a good ending.
What if there's
or
a bad ending?
At least I saw the ending.
No, I
don't sit up for the rest of the night and I'm like, who did the zombie eat? Like, instead I know. But if it's a good dream, then I don't want to wake up halfway through it. I want to finish the dream.
Yeah, no, that's brutal.
I want to know who my soulmate is on Puppy Heaven.
Yeah.
Like, okay, for example, a few nights ago, I was literally dreaming about how, and I only got like a third through it, and I was dreaming about how me and Ike were walking on clouds.
How do you know you were literally dreaming?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and think that I was not riding a big Ike on clouds.
Think about that. Can you literally dream? Because dreaming is some kind of weird, nebulous subworld.
It's not real.
There you go.
But I was dreaming about how my cat and I was riding Ike on fluffy cotton candy clouds. I don't know if it was cotton candy.
Him?
Yeah, because he was big.
Okay.
But I'm going to assume that they were cotton candy. He seemed happy.
All right.
Right as we were about to make it to the destination, which now that I think about it was probably a nightmare because we took so long to make it to the destination, the dream ends. Because guess who woke me up? Ike, pawing at my face. Was it cute? Yeah. Did he wake me up from my dream? Also, yeah.
Maybe he's the one who put you in the dream.
Then why would he wake me up from it? And I think it's so annoying because...
He's a prankster.
Either way.
He trolled you.
I don't know. I don't want to be awakened from my dream.
No, it's brutal.
So...
you know what? Last night, I was telling Madish this morning, that little weasel woke me up. I was dreaming I was about to play hockey. And I can't remember the last time I had a good hockey dream. And I was getting ready to play. And then all of a sudden, thunk, whap. Yeah. And I look over and I'm like, oh, dude, I was just having a dream about hockey. He didn't care.
No,
he was unconcerned.
He's a notorious waker-upper. It's so annoying.
I'm going to start waking him up when he's sleeping.
Whap.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so annoying. It makes me want to cry. Like,
I know what you mean. It's very... Yeah, you wake up so unfulfilled, like you were just on the edge of something, some great discovery, or even if it's scary, you're just on the edge of some something was going to happen, and then now you'll never know.
Never. And it's truly horrible. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. You're going to horrible, aren't you?
It sucks to be awaken. Like, what word do I use? Waken?
Awakened from sleep.
Awakened from sleep.
No, or awakened. Awakened.
Yeah, see? It sucks.
Or you could just say it's disagreeable to be baffed out of sleep by your furry little
feline,
stinky breathed cat.
Well, this time, and it was actually cute. I didn't mind that bad because I was dreaming about him this particular time, and he was laying on my neck, so it was kind of cute. It's not the first time that he's waking me up from a dream. You see, one time I was having a bad dream, right? I'm not going to go into details because it's quite gory. But
probably best.
I was about to take out the person that was causing the trauma.
Oh my God, once again.
And I came up, baff, right in the ear. Baff, 3 times. 1, 2, 3.
No.
In the ear. Full on claws out and everything. So what did I do? Picked him out, kicked him out of my room. Tried to finish my dream where I was literally about to arrest, throw in jail, take out this horrible person.
You need to be careful with your words.
No. And
but originally it was take out, and that projected an image of some with some degree of insanity. But if you're saying, I was going to arrest them, and I
wasn't going to kill him. I was just going to hurt him.
Well, we have different definitions of take out then.
I was going to hurt him.
Okay, that doesn't make it better.
I was going to save the world. And
okay, you couldn't have said that. I was just about to save the world. Then it's all like,
he woke me up from this really nice dream.
I was going to take him out. I was just about to take him out, see?
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing.
And he woke me up. Mid-dream. Well, not mid-dream, at the end of the dream.
Did you discuss this matter with him?
Well, I think I kind of did when I chucked him out of my room.
I find that he doesn't really register lessons very well. He's baby dumb.
Yeah, he is. But, I don't know. It's just irritating. I don't like being awoken from a dream.
I would wholeheartedly agree. Being disturbed mid-dream is not fun.
It's really not fun at all. It's so annoying. It's really irritating.
It is irritating. It's bothersome. It's in fact horrible.
Yeah, truly.
All right, Irish.
Okay.
I think that brings us
to the end of the podcast.
The end of episode the 8th.
Oh, by the way, if you heard me sniffling a bit throughout the podcast, I have a bit of a cold. So don't be bothered. And if you are, speak to our manager. Okay, that's the end of episode 8. Come back for episode 9 next Wednesday.
Episode the 9th.
Yep. And while you're at it, go ahead and check out all of our websites and...
our vast array of websites.
Let me list them. paralosdos.com or paralosdos.com. Then go ahead and sign up for the newsletter.
Change happens.
Change happens.
Every Sunday.
Yep. And if you need change to happen, go ahead and talk to Father.
Oh my. All right, it's getting weird.
Okay.
I love you.
I love you too.
Next time.
Next time.